Good evening all and welcome to another video on All How the Ale. It's Friday the 14th of October, which means we're 2 weeks into Sober October. And the beer we're going for tonight is from Insel-Brauerei. It is this one. It is Snorkelers Sea Salt IPA. And it is, as it says, a sea salt based IPA weighing in at 0.5% ABV. There's not a huge amount I can tell you about the beer because, like I say, most of it is in German. However, you got the same chart that you had on Skippers, which says the bitterness is 4 out of 5. The freshness is 5 out of 5, and both the fruitiness and the spiciness are 3 out of 5. And that is your little chart right there on the bottom of the bottle. I like it. I do love the artwork on this. The whole range seems to have some cool artwork. You've got the old pencil drawings on the paper wrap that are relevant quite clearly to the name of the beer. You've clearly got a guy in a snorkeling sort of apparatus and a bit of an octopi on there, just for fun. So, yeah, I like it. This one apparently is, well, I guess it's the brewery that won the awards as opposed to the particular beer. They've won it in 2016, 2017 and twice in 2018. So, yeah, I do like what they stand for. I was very surprised with how good the Skippers was, given the average Untapped rating was quite low. I scored it 4 points. So, I have high hopes for Snorkelers. So, let's get it out and into a glass and see what we think. So I'm going to just roll down the paper a bit because I don't want to destroy it. Get it open and we're going to pour into my AF Beer Club glass. And the pour is a nice colour. A lovely colour on that. I'm not going to go mental because I want enough for the photo for later. Look at that. It is. Wow, okay. That's quite sedimenty. Did it mention sediment? Does it? Does it not? I don't know. No, there's no mention that I can see that it is a sedimenty beer. It's quite bitty, which hopefully you can see that kind of up close there in the glass. Little floaters, as I call them. But it's a nice colour, and the head is nice and stable. You've got a solid finger and a bit of that. So yeah. And looking at the roll and just how the bits are staying suspended, almost like it's a gel. That's really quite telling about the body of the beer. That is interesting. This could go either way, ladies and gents. So, it doesn't look great, I'm going to be honest. Colour though, and the head, yes, but the bits put you off a little bit. Let's have a whiff. Fairly malty. Fairly sweet. No real hot presence. A little bit of citrus. No real sign of the salt, which on some gozes I can detect. It's got a savoury aroma. This doesn't really have it. So, okay, I'm wondering how my innards are going to take this one. Who knows? Anyway, it looks suspect. It smells basic. Let's have a taste. Cheers. Yeah, the body is very, very good. Well, it's verging on heavy. It's really thick. I'm really quite surprised. There is a bitter punch. It is slightly medicinal, and there's a real kind of grapefruit vibe on the back end with that bitterness. It's pithy. It's almost resinous, and it's one of the bitterest IPAs in alcohol free that I've ever had, and I like that. It's up there with Goosewing from Jump Ship, and yeah, the sweet malt is coming through afterwards. The salt is there, and it's one of those things that if you didn't know it was there, you'd be questioning what you can taste, and it just adds a little bit of a a little bit of an edge to it, just a subtle saltiness, I guess you could say. Yeah. The finish is bitter, quite long, and I guess you could call it quite hoppy, but there's a sweet malt underneath it all. And it is that sweet, crystally, sugary malt as well, which is not my favourite, but it's quite well hidden by the bitterness and the hops and that grapefruit pithy punch. It's not bad. Yeah. Okay. A beer of two halves. So before we go into the points, we're going to refer back to my pick sheet from Wise Bartender, because that's where I got this one from. And it says I paid £2.59 for this one, which was the same as the Skipper's, which was an exceptionally good beer. So now we go to the scoreboard of joy, which says that Snorkelers, and forgive the spelling, 10,900 check-ins with an average of 302. 3 people I've tried it with an average of 408. Yeah, there we go. So, my scoreboard of joy is currently void of the points. Let's give it some. Sounds a bit like a threat from the 90s. You want to give it some? Pour a bit more off just so we can see what's occurring. Try and pour lightly. On the pour, it doesn't seem it coming out of the bottle, but yeah, it's there. It is there. Okay, so reinvigorate some of that head. Wow, lots of head. Okay. The colour I like. The head consistency and retention I like. The bits I really don't like on the nose. It puts you off as a beer drinker. I'm going to be brutally honest. And like I say, it makes you fear for your innards. You kind of expect to be praying to the porcelain god when drinking something of that nature. Now, many of us know it's not going to do you any harm, but the average punter in a pub would be really put off by that, as would I if I was served it. So I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm going to give it 0 for the visual because of those floaters. The aroma is light and basic. It smells a little bit malty. There is a hint of citrus. Some hop, but none of the salt. It's light on the nose, much lighter, I must say, than the flavour. I'm going to give it the 0.5. And the body, I cannot fault. Exceptional body. It's really verging on heavy, let's be truthful there. And it's kind of mouth coating. It is arguably one of the best bodies in an alcohol-free beer I've ever had. Better than Erdinger, better than the Guinness alcohol-free, which for the nitro delivery is superb. This is an excellent body. Let's get a full point. I'd give it more if I could, be honest. Taste, I really like. I really do like the taste. It's bitter, which I love in an IPA. It's got some good hops to it. After that bitterness kind of fades away, and it's a beautiful, pithy, resinous, grapefruity bitterness. And the malt, though, is a bit on the sweet side for me. That's the only negative about the whole thing. So I'm going to give it the 0.75. And the finish. On an IPA, I want them to be hoppy, long, and bitter. It is all three. And yeah, I can't not give it a full point. So, yeah, it's a bit different to last week's score, because we've obviously given, I think it's the first ever 0 on the looks of a beer, purely because of those really, really unpleasant floaters. So what we got 1, 2, 3 1/4 out of 5, which means it cannot have the full bonus point. But does it offer value for money? Because I've given it that such low score for the visuals, I can't, in good faith, say that this would be a good value for money beer, because I've been let down on it. You know, I wouldn't, if I was served it, I wouldn't buy it again. So would I buy it again? No, not on the evidence of this. On the flavour, yes. So I'm going to say a question mark. In fact, I'm going to change the value for money to a question mark as well, because I will give it another chance. We have had batches of beers where you get the sort of the dregs of the keg or whatever it's been poured from, and you get the worst bit. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. You can't win them all. So question marks on those. So Snorkelers from Insel-Brauerei have got 3 1/4 out of 5 with 2 possible bonus points. So there we go. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, be upstanding for the beer. That has been the beer. I have been me. Those down there are the buttons. You know exactly what to do with them by now. You've got your like, comment, dislike, and subscribe. Choose any combination of them as you wish. And I will see you again soon for another one. Bye.